Hey guys, this is Raven again, and I have a face cam this time, so this will be extra cool. So now patch 11.3 has just recently dropped. I was actually, I think, an hour late to this patch note review. I have seen a little bit of what they had planned, but I haven't seen the actual patch notes itself. So, according to a lot of people, this is a really huge patch note. So we'll have to get right into it. So, looking at the patch highlights first, we're looking at Anivia, Cho'Gath, Elise, Ivern, Olaf, Pantheon, Rammus, Seraphine, Talia, and Udyr nerfs. And we're looking at buffs to Ezreal, Jinx, Karma, Mordekaiser, Riven, Singe, Shyvana, Sylas, and Vladimir. We're looking at updates to Gangplank and Rel. In terms of the item changes, I'm not sure if they're buffs or debuffs. We have some Enchanter items, Mage items, Marksman items, Fighter items, Sustain items, and Tank items. I assume the Score Drinker is going to be heavily nerfed from what they had in mind. So let's just go right into it. Perfect. Alright, so champions. Anivia. Q detonation damage decreased, R cooldown increased later. So Flash Frost has now decreased its detonation damage and also reduced its AP scaling by 5%, which is pretty nice. Anivia has been very scary actually in the solo queue patch, so it's been it's been a little bit hard sometimes. I've heard a lot of people have trouble against her, so this should be a nice kind of just not really reducing her to like worthlessness, but like bringing her power level down a little bit so that it's a little bit more in line, hopefully, with the other mid laners. So Glacial Storm here. The cooldown has been actually increased as you level up Glacial Storm, which is good because Glacial Storm last time at a 1 second cooldown was really kind of menacing because you could just keep setting up Glacial Storm when the enemy moved out of it. You just stop Glacial Storm, wait a second, and it literally spawned it right in front of them again. So Glacial Storm was one of those kind of ultimates that was really oppressive, and having this kind of cooldown will just hopefully make it a bit less oppressive and should, I think, reduce her damage output by a decent amount. So Cho'Gath, base damage decreased later with the Vorpal spikes. So Cho'Gath has been kind of this interesting, more I think this is going towards more like solo queue, not really the pros. Pros haven't been playing Cho'Gath at all. So for solo queues, Cho'Gath has been quite powerful. So Vorpal spikes, the damage has been reduced by quite a significant amount, actually. So especially later, from 82 to 70, that's pretty significant for Cho'Gath. So hopefully this will help rein him in a little bit and prevent him from, being this kind of terror in the top lane. Will it completely change him? I don't think so. I think tanks are still really good. This will just keep him a little, just kind of like a nice little kind of, just a nice little rein in, sort of. Now Elise is debatable. I would say it's a very debatable champ because I have heard some people say that she's good in solo queue. I've also heard a lot of people say that she isn't. So this nerf, I think, maybe was aimed at the wrong place. However, I guess, right, I don't have the data that Riot has, so let's look here. So Neurotoxin has been reduced, the damage. So towards the end, it gets reduced like an insane amount. Should help reduce her scaling, and I think maybe I don't like reducing Neurotoxin super late. The reason being is that Elise is such an early game focused champion. And when you have Neurotoxin getting nerfed late, I don't think she's gonna be as powerful late as she is in the beginning. So maybe this nerf was slightly aimed in the wrong direction. I think reducing her base damage a little bit more at the start, I think would be beneficial. Especially level 2, level 3 of Neurotoxin, I think that'll be good. I don't think by level 5, she's still a threat. So this will help rein her down, but her threat starts to kind of wane. I think when it gets towards like level 10, I would say, her threat really starts to decrease. Scattering Frenzy, the active attack speed got reduced by a large amount, so this will be very nice. Again, reducing it late is a little bit interesting, but you know, it's really good nerf, I think, to just kind of, if they want to reduce her power, this is the way you do it. So overall, if reducing Elise's power is what Riot wants to accomplish, then, you know, good job. Alright, so Ezreal. So it says Ezreal has been faring so well with the new item systems, given more of a Mystic Shot, rebuffing his Q ratio to better synergize with more mana, also while giving him more valuable building heavy AD items like Hydra. So now Mystic Shot has increased the damage ratio from 120% to 130%, which is actually pretty nice for Ezreal, especially with Mystic Shot being one of his main forms of damage. This is really gonna actually increase his damage. Will we see him in the top levels of play? Probably not yet, but really watch out. This might actually tip the scale slightly. I think pro players might have to kind of brush off the dust a little bit, but I think this will start making him really nice and really viable. You know, to compete with stuff like Xayah recently that has kind of crept into the top tiers. Ivern. So base health growth decreased, E shield decreased later. So now his health growth is reduced from 95 to 85, and his E shield has been reduced late. Again, they're really targeting this kind of the theme so far with this patch. It's been late, reducing everybody late. So with the shields right now, I think Ivern is a little bit of an interesting character because he can be played in weird positions such as top and support. Of course, he's still a very good jungler, and he has a very nice jungle pathing because he can be very kind of a little bit more carefree with his jungle pathing, I would say. Like you still have to follow some rough jungle pathing, but you can afford to, you know, be a little bit more carefree and be a little bit more kind of willy-nilly with your jungle pathing, let's say. So I think this will just again help him rein him in. I think this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, in my opinion. But only time will tell. So yeah. Jinx, base health decrease, Q bonus range increase, fish bones bonus attack speed penalty decrease, E cost increased, arm time decreased, max range cast adjusted. Jinx just got a crap ton of changes. So her base health has decreased, which is really playing into that idea of hyper carry. I would say Jinx is a very huge hyper carry, and I'm gonna be using. I know a lot of you guys will not understand or will not like the way I use it, but when I used to play Dota, hyper carry means a character that's very weak early but gets very strong towards the end. Jinx is really starting to feel more like that, where she's becoming really hyper carry, where her kind of initial levels are very weak, but she scales incredibly well, and this is really playing into that scaling. So she's gonna be really hit weak early on. It's gonna be really hit, but I think towards the late game, you might start seeing Jinx really start to pop off. So the bonus range of the Q switcheroo is really nice. Having 25 increase on all levels is really good, and will help Jinx, you know, output a little bit more consistent damage, and stay a bit more safe. So I think what Riot wants to do with Jinx is to make her a little bit more kitey. So you have to play a lot more around the kite because she just can't take hits as well now. Fishbone's bonus attack speed penalty has been reduced from negative 25% to negative 10%, so meaning she shoots faster, which means again she will output more damage. That 15% I think is pretty big, so you know, watch out. Jinx might start creeping up, I think. Flame Chompers has been increased from 70 mana to 90 mana, which is really nice to balance some of the changes that they've made. The arm time from 0.7 seconds to 0.5 seconds, I think, isn't super huge. Like, if you look at the overall percentage of it, obviously it's pretty nice, but you know, a 0.2 second change wouldn't be super noticeable for most players. I think for the top level players, it might start feeling noticeable, especially playing with very low ping. But if you're playing with like high ping, or like you're not that kind of like super top tier player, I don't think it's gonna matter too much to you. The additional mana cost might be slightly an issue because Jinx normally does have a slight mana issue from what I've been experiencing, but I think it shouldn't hit too hard, especially if you build Presence of Mind. So update, no more flaming. When casting flame chompers farther than max range, it now casts to the max range instead of making you walk into range and then casting. This is really nice quality of life change. You know, just prevents you from accidentally walking forward and then getting hooked or getting killed by the enemy. So, you know, now, you know, you can kite a little bit more effectively, and hopefully you don't accidentally toss your flame chompers and start walking forward. So really nice quality of change. Again, really helps her kite and everything. So perfect, good change. Karma. Base mana regen increase, Q cost decrease. This is really nice. Makes her use more of her inner flame. So the mana regen increase is pretty nice. The inner flame mana decrease is interesting, because what Riot wants to do is bring, it says bringing good karma to support karma. But in my opinion, I think, you know, buffing inner flame, I think might actually lend itself better to the top lane or to the mid lane. So, because now you can trade a little bit more effectively with inner flame. So, you know, top lane karma and mid lane karma might actually not be as bad, you know. So again, watch out. We've already seen top lane karma in the NALCS. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Fudge played it during the lock-in tournament grand finals game 2. And so, you know, I think it might start to be a little bit more viable if you pick Karma top now, because again, you can spam Inner Flame a little bit more, and you have more mana. I don't think this will really help support Karma. If you really want to buff support Karma, buff the shield. Mordekaiser. E cooldown decreased. Mord isn't grasping with the new season well, so we're giving more grasp. Okay, so what this is saying is essentially it's reducing the cooldown by 2 seconds on all levels of his E Death's Grasp. Mordekaiser has been underperforming slightly, in my opinion. He hasn't been a strong pick, especially he's been eclipsed by a lot more tanky top laners. So let's give examples. Aatrox is really good right now. Renekton's very nice right now. Ornn, you know, has played a lot. Gnar, right? So Mordekaiser has kind of fallen out of favor recently, especially last season when he was pretty nice and up there. So I think having the Death Grasp is going to be really nice. I would say, in my opinion, he might go up a tier in the tier list or so, but it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to make him super S tier. I think it's going to make him very viable though. Olaf. Base health decrease, passive bonus attack speed decrease, now displays amount of attack speed on passive icon. Health has been increased from 500... Wait, decreased from 597. Sorry, that's a 9. That's not a 5. But that's not a 0. My bad. 597 to 575. And his bonus attack speed on his Berserker's Rage has been reduced from 0 to 100% to 0 to 75%. This actually might screw him over. This, I think, this will kill this champion. Olaf has been a huge menace the past 2 patches because of Gore Drinker. But I'm pretty sure they're nerfing Gore Drinker later on, so, you know, skip ahead a little bit if you want to watch the Gore Drinker changes. But then again, the Gore Drinker is what makes Olaf good. It's not necessarily his kit that makes him amazing. It's the fact that he syncs really well with Gore Drinker, and, you know, he has an insane amount of lifesteal. Because, you know, and so he can just frontline, walk forward, you know, ignore the CC with Ragnarok and just start, you know, pummeling people. By nerfing Gore Drinker and nerfing Olaf together like this, especially with, I think, if the Gore Drinker changes really comes true, this might completely kill him. So watch out, he's, I think, pretty gutted now. Pantheon Q has decreased damage against both minions and monsters. Cooldown increased early. There we go. This is the change I've been harping on about ever since patch 11.1. Watch my patch 11.1 review if you want to see what I meant about this. They were trying to nerf Pantheon's power in both the mid and jungle. I said in patch 11.1 that Riot is going the wrong way by nerfing his W instead of his Q, because that's not where his damage lies. His Q is where his damage lies. Finally Riot got this correct. So now he will have reduced damage against minions and monsters, which will reduce his presence in the jungle. It will make him less effective. And now his cooldown has been increased early, which has going to significantly reduce his early game presence and early game threat. Thank you, Riot. This is how you nerf a champion, not whatever you did in patch 11.1. Perfect. Perfect change. gonna really help him, you know, prevent him from just being this absolute must pick. He has been picked less recently, I think because of the Gore Drinker changes. I think this might, I think Pantheon nowadays will just be a situational pick. I think we'll turn into a situational pick, depending on your comp, really. I think that's where he is gonna be at. Rammus, E cooldown flatten. So, Rammus has reduced tank power now, so his Frenzying Taunt has now been turned into a flat 12 seconds, which I think is really nice. I think just prevents him from being this kind of huge solo queue threat again. He's not gonna be more. Again, he's not gonna be like a top tier pick again, especially with the nerf. But you know, now that you know tank items have become really good and everything, I think this will just keep Rammus a little bit more in line, and will make him a bit less of a nuisance, I believe. Rel, W1, W2 damage ratio increase, E damage ratio increase, unbind cooldown decrease, cooldown bug fixed, long distance pathing bug fixed, R damage ratio increase. So Rel, Ferromancy Crash Down has been turned from 40% AP to 60% AP, Mount Up from 30% to 40%, Attract and Repel unbind cooldown 3 seconds to 1 second, fix a bug where Rel's E Attract and Repel cooldown was scaling non-linearly, that's good. Cast far away when cast from very long ranges. Rel should now properly pass towards the target until in range to cast her E. Magnet Storm has increased from 70% AP to 110% AP. This is a huge set of changes for Rel, and really increasing this damage output is going to be a little bit more interesting to see, because we're already starting to see Rel being utilized by both pro players and by a little bit more of the amateur teams. So by buffing Rel like this, this might kind of bring her over the top. A lot of people have concerns with Rel over her slowness and how she's a very slow support, and how stuff like Nautilus, Leona, Thresh, they're much faster than Rel, which is true in some regards. But I think Rel, if utilized really well, is very nice of a pick. She has amazing engage, amazing CC. Her stuns are really good. She has a knock-up with her W. She has a flip with her human form turned into horse form W. She has a stun with her E. Pull everyone close with her R. So again, she has insane combo potential and insane CC potential, and this is really gonna help Rel kind of shine a little bit more. I'm a little bit worried, however, that this increased AP may tip her over the edge into becoming really good, but honestly, time will tell. Although that is a huge concern of mine. But I love Rel, so all the more power to her, I guess. Riven, E cooldown decreased. So Valor, the Riven cooldown is decreased from, I think it's 2 seconds on all levels? Yeah, it's 2 seconds on all levels. So that'll be really nice. It will help her with her combos, especially. Riven is in a bit of a weird place right now in that I don't think she's amazingly good. And since a lot of stuff that she used in previously, including Gore Drinker, Rav Hydro, are getting nerfed, I think this is just a nice welcome buff in order to kind of balance those changes out. So this is really nice for Riven. I don't think she's gonna be really broken, like I said, because of her items. So I think she will be about the same power level as she was before, if not slightly better, because her combo is gonna be a lot easier to execute now, and you can execute it more often. Seraphine, passive base note damage decreased, W shield decreased. Seraphine is an absolute menace with Staff of Flowing Water build, Moonstaff. Thanks, Elise. So yeah, so this really helps her with the base note damage decrease and the shielding decrease. So helps her prevents charging Moonstone and Staff too quickly. So a nice just kind of watering down of Seraphine. He says her strong stage presence is in the mid lane. I don't think so. I think her presence is more in the support. I think she's much better played in support, especially with Moonstaff. Support Seraphine does a strangely good amount of damage for a support, so I think this will really be good in reducing her kind of just damage. So amazing. Hopefully she'll be less of a menace this patch. I think this is gonna be significant with the changes, with, especially I think with Staff of Flowing Water. So look for her to be much weaker than I think she was before. Shyvana. Q empowered basic attack damage and second strike bonus damage increased. W bonus movement speed increased. Her empowered basic attack first strike damage has turned from 100% AD to 100% AD plus 25% AP. Ooh, that's interesting. And her second strike bonus damage, again, is going from pure AD to a little bit of AP. W burnout is going from bonus movement speed from 30. Increasing an 8% up to 100 AP. Okay, still decays linearly. So it's gonna be interesting because now Shyvana just does not build pure AD. She can build a little bit of AP, which means that she, I think there's gonna be more items open to her, and you can be a lot more clever with your builds. You can maybe even try building Moonstaff on Shyvana. Might be kind of troll, but who knows, right? Especially with 25% AP and 15% AP, that's still pretty significant in terms of her damage. So look out, and there's gonna be a lot more build variety with Shyvana, which is gonna be really, really nice because this champ simply, I think, is just super underpowered right now. And I think adding a little bit more build variety, giving her more options to build, I think will give her this kind of just nice buff, and will really help solidify her role in the current meta. So Singed Q damage ratio increased. So damage ratio increased from 80% AP to 90% AP. That's pretty significant again. With percentages, you always have to look very carefully because percentages will benefit the late game. So again, watch out because late game Singe might actually be a huge. This poison throw might be a huge threat because 10% early game isn't much of an increase in damage, but 10% late game, wow, that is significant. So yeah, I don't think Singe will be super meta, but then again, you have to start watching out because this is pretty nice and pretty significant of a change, in my opinion. Sylas, Q cost flattened, W damage increased. So Sylas now has a flat 55 mana for his Chain Lash, very nice, benefiting him late game again. And his Kingslayer now, I think, has 5 extra damage on all levels. Yep, 5 extra damage on all levels and 5% AP. It's not as huge as like a 10 or 15% increase in AP, but combined with a slight increase in base damage, it's gonna make Sylas a little bit more threatening, and it's gonna make him very, a little bit stronger pick. Sylas right now in the amateur scene, collegiate scene, is a it's a comfort pick, and it can work well. Normally, it is used in the top or mid lane, and it's a direct counter normally to either Ornn or TF. I think Sylas is played into Galio as well. So champs with a global ultimate, except Pantheon, can be countered with Sylas. So like I said, Ornn, just for the Ornn Horn, sometimes you play Sylas into it. TF, so you can match his Destiny Gate with your own Destiny Gate, and you can even match Galio R with like your own Galio R. So Sylas is gonna be really nice now, and it's gonna be a little bit more of a you have to be careful. Especially for those of you amateur players, Sylas is going to be a little bit more of a threat now, and quite significant. So watch out. I think his health, his sustainability in fights is going to increase, and also his damage is going to increase. So I think this will make him really nice and a really viable pick in this patch. Talia, passive bonus movement speed increase. Q subsequent stone damage against monsters decrease. So now subsequent stone damage against monsters goes from 100% to 80%. So again, Talia now will have a decreased jungle speed clear, which is gonna be pretty huge because Talia generally looks for ganks, but she also power farms quite often. She power farms more often than not, really. So having a little bit slower clear speed is actually gonna be pretty huge on Talia. Her bonus movement speed increasing though is going to be really nice, and it's just going to help her roam a lot better. So she can go in between the camps quicker. So overall, I think her jungle speed is going to be reduced slightly. I don't think it's going to be reduced as significantly as if it was only the damage. If it was only the damage and without the increase in movement speed, the jungle speed is going to be reduced significantly, making Talia a much weaker pick. But I think with the passive rock surfing, it overall balances out a little bit more and forces people to change their playstyle into more of a roaming playstyle rather than just, you know, sitting back power farming. So that's kind of nice. Udyr, our total base active aura damage decrease later. Udyr is a really fun, interesting pick this meta. I did not expect this pick at all. Shake brought it out in the LCK, and now everybody's playing Udyr. So he has his Phoenix Sense. Damage is a little bit kind of ludicrous, but you know, so this will hopefully keep that a little bit more in line, because right now his R damage is pretty deadly, and especially his jungle clear speed with that R is very nice. So so hopefully he would be a bit more of a situational pick rather than just pick every single time. The only issue I have with Udyr is that I'm not quite sure where this will put him, because obviously he's still going to be so strong of a pick for all the reasons, I guess, that made him a strong pick. You know, being able to move really fast, you know, roam around the map really quickly, and, you know, especially with Chem Tank just going brrr. I think this will nerf him pretty nicely. I think it'll make him more of a, you know, situational pick with your team comp rather than something that you have to run. Because that's kind of seems like what a lot of teams are kind of doing with Udyr right now. Vladimir, our cooldown is now flat. Huge change for Vladimir. Vladimir right now, I think a lot of people are actually sleeping on him. Vladimir is actually kind of good. Again, his late game scaling is very nice, surprisingly. And this Hemo Plague cooldown flattening is going to be really nice for Vladimir players out there. So watch out. Vladimir might actually creep into the top tier of mid laners. Like I said, Vladimir is super good already. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. So he's good in the top lane and he's good in the mid lane. Watch out, Vladimir might actually be a pick you're gonna have to start thinking about this patch. So yeah. Alright, so let's see the item changes. We're doing paths on the mage to create more balance among their purchase rate and to stop any one item from overshadowing others. Lichbane, Zhonya's, and Seeker's Armguard. We're also broadening Horizon Focus by lowering its activation range so that more mage can take advantage of its specialty. Lastly, we're unifying the stacking passes between Verdant Barrier and Seeker's Armguard for consistency. Okay, so Lichbane ability power decreased from 80 to 70, pretty huge. I'm not a huge mage player, nor are any of my players really huge mage players, so I'm not sure how Lichbane functions into everything, but I think it will reduce powers on champs who build it, such as I think Nidalee, I think TF can build it as well. So yeah. Horizon Focus ability power increased from 110 to 115. That's pretty nice. And his hyper shot range from 750 to 700. That's actually going to buff Horizon Focus because now more mages can use it. So now look for more variety with Horizon Focus. I think this might make Horizon Focus a must pick for a lot of mages nowadays. So yeah, look out for that. Verdant Barrier active passive goes from 60 seconds, gain 3 bonus resistance, blah blah. You can read it on your own. To grant 0.5 magic resistance per each unit killed to a maximum of 15. So 15 times 0.5, I think averages out to about 7.5 magic resist. Oh no, maximum 15 magic resist. Sorry, my bad. So you have to kill about 30 units in order to get the full effect of Verdant Barrier. That's very nice. I think, like I said, it's just to make sure that it interacts a little bit better. And its combined cost reduced from 315 to 115. Again, I think it'll be less powerful, and at least, but I think it'll be a much better item because it'll be a little bit more clear on what it does, and it's a bit cheaper as well. So it offsets. Banshee's Veil ability power increased from 65 to 80, and the combined cost increased from 400 to 700. 700 gold for an additional 15 AD. I think is pretty nice of a trade-off. So yeah, look out for Banshee's Veil. Banshee's Veil I think is gonna be more popular especially for those champs that need to build a little bit of MR into their builds. So a little bit more of those squishy mid lane champs might start picking it up. So maybe look for an Orianna, look for a Syndra that may pick up Banshee's Veil. Seeker's Armguard increased combined cost from 165 gold to 265 gold, and the total cost from 900 gold to 1,000 gold. So Seeker's Armguard is going to be a much harder item to get. I think that's good. A lot of champs are mid lane mages are really using Seeker's Arm Guard, so that's gonna be very nice. Zhonya's has been increased from 2,500 gold to 2,600 gold. 100 gold realistically isn't a huge amount. I would say it's just about maybe like a bit less than a minion wave. Realistically, I think it's about maybe 5-ish minions. If I'm not completely mistaken, so you might want to check on that. 5-6 minions. So you have to kill an additional 5-6 minions. So it depends when you build it. If you build it like first item, which I don't think anyone should build Zhonya's first item, then it might be significant. But if you start building it a bit late, a bit more late, a little extra 100 gold might not be as significant, because like I said, it's just it's just about 5-6 minutes difference. Enchanter items. Staff of Flowing Water is performing much better. Yes, it is. So ability power reducing from 60 to 50 is a welcome change. It still doesn't reduce its insane interaction with the moon. That mythic, I don't remember, Moon Reaver, I think is that his name, if I'm not 100% mistaken. Yeah, it's 3 AM right now, so you can't see it because my face is blocking it, but it's 3 AM right now, so I'm a little bit tired, so I might not remember stuff. But yeah, welcome change, reduces its egregious scaling. Chemtech Purifier ability haste increased from 15 to 20 is gonna be nice, and now because here's the thing, inflicts immobilize enemies with 60% grievous wounds for 30 seconds. Now healing or shielding an allied champion. Now empowers an ally's next damage to an enemy champion with 60% grievous wounds for 30 seconds. That's kind of huge, because now you can now this item shouldn't be built on the engaged champs. This item should be built on the Enchanter, so Enchanters now have a good way of actually getting grievous wounds out on the enemy. So you can even, so if you heal like your ADC who's going in to the enemy team, who's attacking an enemy, grievous wounds is gonna be much easier to come by. And so I think, which is gonna be really nice if you play Enchanter as a support, because now you take away the burden of having to buy anti-heal or grievous wounds on your mid lane or on your top lane or on your ADC, and now you can bear that burden as a support. So this is gonna be very nice, actually. It's gonna be really huge. It's gonna be, I think, look out for more Chemtech Purifier. I think it's gonna be a really good item, especially if you're playing stuff such as Lulu, Nami, Janna. It's gonna be very nice. Even Seraphine can build grievous wounds now. This might be scary. So look out for that. Fighter items. Silvermere Dawn has been underperforming, to be honest. I haven't really built it, nor have I seen many people build it. So increasing attack damage from 35 to 40 isn't super huge, but it's welcome. Health increase from 200 to 300, I think will make it a little bit more viable. Again, I don't think it's gonna turn it into like a must buy for any item, but now I think it goes into more of that. It turns Silvermere Dawn from something that you don't really buy to, in certain situations, it can be a nice little cool pickup. Iron Spike Whip, remove Crescent and power damage. Iron Spike no longer deals more damage to low health minions and monsters, which is nice because now we reduce the clear speed. Because previously Iron Spike Whip helped junglers and helped fighters improve their clear speed. So now by reducing the Crescent power damage, we now no longer increase their we now reduce their clear speed, actually. So this will be very nice. And again, it's really hitting champions such as Olaf, Olaf, Pantheon stuff. Olaf has really high clear speed, so this will really reduce his clear speed. This is why I say Olaf might actually die off this patch, just because of this Iron Spike Whip and the Gore Drinker nerfs that you will see coming up. So Phantom Dancer has been getting a buff, so now instead of Dagger Zeal plus 950 is Zeal Longsword. Oh, it's no longer a Zeal item. That's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. Attack damage went from 0 to 20. Attack speed went from 45% to 25%. Stacks for bonus attack speed went from 5 to 4, and bonus attack speed went from 40% to 30%. This is kind of interesting. It makes Phantom Dancer not really this kind of attack speed item anymore. Normally you would see Phantom Dancer built in conjunction with stuff like Runon's Hurricane, Rapid Fire Cannon on ADCs, but now this gives Phantom Dancer its own unique niche. Whether I think this will overall be better for the game, I don't think actually. I prefer old Phantom Dancer. If you really wanted it to be more viable as a second item, I would say don't really do this. Just reduce its gold cost, maybe? But then again, you know, why would you ever pick Phantom Dancer with options such as Runans and Rapid Fire? So maybe this gives Phantom Dancer its own niche, actually. So, actually might not be that bad. So I think Phantom Dancer, instead of turning from this, you know, pure attack speed item that gets completely overshadowed, I guess, by Rapid Fire Cannon and by Runans, I guess now it has its own kind of unique niche. So it might actually be a viable second item for certain champions. Immortal Shield Bow attack damage increased from 50 to 55, and its attack speed increased from 15% to 20%. Oh no, you're buffing Samira. Hello? So this is actually pretty nice for Shield Bow. It's relatively, I would say, in terms of skill buff, it's pretty medium. It's not super huge, but it's not super weak at the same time. And again, you're indirectly buffing champions that really rely on Shield Bow. Samira. So yeah, look out for Samira. Samira, like I said, she hasn't been target of nerfs, I think, anywhere recently, so, you know, look out for her. She might actually be really, really busted. Whether she was gonna overtake Kai'Sa in the overall tier list, I think Kai'Sa is still much better. Not much better, but like, you know, I think Kai'Sa might still be better, because again, the difference between Samira and Kai'Sa is that Kai'Sa can play in two different playstyles. She can play a front to back playstyle, because she builds Kraken Slayer anyways most of the times. Well, with Gale Force as as a second possibility. So depending on what you want, you can if you want to play her front to back, you know, perfectly acceptable to build Kraken Slayer. If you want to play her as a diving, you know, diving and assassinating, you can pick up Gale Force. So again, I think Kai'Sa overall might still be a better champ because of just that flexibility, especially with the type of team comps that are you know, present right now. But now look out for Samira, because now she's starting to catch up. The issue with Samira that she doesn't have over Kai'Sa is that, again, Samira doesn't have that flexibility. She has to go in, she has to dive in, she wants to go in, she wants to be in an enemy team, hitting multiple people with a Q, hitting multiple people with a W, you know, sliding in and using the ulti, sliding and then just sliding through the enemy team as she wipes them out. So it gives Samira a bit more, it makes Samira a bit more one-dimensional rather than Kai'Sa, which can play a bunch of different playstyles. Lord Dominic's Regards actually is interesting because it hasn't been built as much. Because normally people just build Mortal Reminder for the Grievous Wounds. So Dominic's hasn't actually been built. So this increased 10% armor penetration, again, is really, really huge. Because again, percentage always have to be taken much more carefully rather than just flat stat increases. If it's just flat stat increases, you know, normally it'll be a medium change, but percentages you have to be a bit careful because again, late game scaling, Lord Dominic's might be really, really nice. Alright, sustain items. Core Drinker, Thirsting Slash Heal, 25% AD plus 12% missing health to 25% AD plus 8% missing health. Huge change. That 4% might not look huge, but when you look at when people trigger Gore Drinker and the types of champions that build Gore Drinker, normally champs are pretty nice health pools. That 4%, especially when because when they trigger it when they're like about 40 to 30% HP, so that's insane amounts of max health that they aren't getting that heal. So that heal is gonna be huge. It's gonna be a huge change. Leeching Leer, Omnivamp reduced from 10% to 5%, health increase from 150 to 250. I don't know much about Leeching Leer. I don't use it. It's not really present too much. I don't play mages as much, like that's why I said. So I don't know what about Leeching Leer. So you're gonna have to think about that one. I think overall it's a pretty nice change, just giving flat health over the Omnivamp. It's alright. Riftmaker, Omnivamp reduced from 15% to 8%, health increase from... So again, they want to just increase base health and reduce Omnivamp, life stealing in this game, which I think is okay. I mean, again, you have Grievous Wounds aren't that hard to get. So look out for Leeching Leer and Riftmaker. Actually, they may actually be not great items because now, Grievous Wounds is even easier to get because of the Putrefier. So that may be something that you have to really think about. Mystic passive from 5% Magic Pen to 8 AP plus 2% Omnivamp. So shifting a little bit of that Omnivamp into scaling, so it's not too bad. So Riftmaker is going to be probably weaker earlier on, but probably end up turning stronger as the game goes on. Eclipse Ever-Rising Moon Shield has been increased, and his Omnivamp has been decreased. Again, Eclipse has been getting nerfed. So I think Eclipse might not be super viable now. Like I said, especially with Omnivamp decreasing and with the addition of more Grievous Wounds and anti-heal, so be careful. Eclipse might not be super valuable now. Rav Hydro Omnivamp decreased from 15% to 10%. That's really, really huge. It's really good. A lot of top laners like to build Rav Hydra nowadays. So, look out. This might gut some champions. Starak Gauge Lifeline Shield decreased from 200 to 100. And Lifeline Shield duration decreased. So, again, quite a lot of top lane. Starak Gauge is very nice for actually Bruiser style top laners. So top laners that have a decent amount of health and can output a good amount of damage, so this will make them a little bit less survivable, and I think much more easier to kill, because I think bruiser type characters are the ones that are kind of the problem right now. So, think in solo queue, like Aatrox, Darius, Olaf, especially Pantheon, those type of champs. So with like fair amount of health, but also can output pretty good damage. I think this will help. Reduce their unkillability. Tank items. Force of Nature. Absorb bonus movement speed from 6 to 8 and from maximum 30 to max 40. That's going to really help Force of Nature out, because Force of Nature, I have not seen it built. I've not built it, nor have I really seen it built. Deadman's Plate is a very popular item, especially now with the advent of Udyr. So a lot of champs like to build Deadman's Plate. So we think of stuff like Udyr now. I'm pretty sure Set still loves Deadman's Plate. I'm pretty sure we have champs. Let's see what other champs. I've built Deadman's Plate on Rel before. So reducing its health is gonna really help the tankiness reduce, and it's gonna indirectly nerf champs such as I think Udyr, Set, Rel, which is good because I think Rel and Udyr. I think Rel actually specifically is probably better that Deadman's Plate is reduced, because just to balance her out a little bit more. Frozen Heart, total cost from 2,700 gold to 2,500 gold. Combined cost decreased by 200 gold as well, and the armor value has been decreased by a flat out 10. That's an overall buff, I think. It's going to make it a bit more of an early game item. Not really an early game item, sorry, but you can build it much more quicker. And I think the 10 less armor isn't going to be too bad for you. So I think with that is practically all the changes. Some quality of life changes that you can read through on your own. I'm not going to read through them. There's some all random ultra rapid fire changes. Oh god. Oh no. So yeah, let's be careful. Ooh, actually 300% ability haste over 80% a year actually might be pretty huge. So if you like Earth, I guess, read it here. You can pause the video here and read it. I'm not going to bother too much because it's not what the main changes are for. And again, here are some following skins that will be released this patch. So feast your eyes. A lot of these are actually really nice. Oh wow, especially with the Chinese New Year. Oh, nice. Let's see, which one do I like? There's a Felio skin, looks pretty okay. The Viego skin looks kind of off in game. Actually, these might look off. Ooh, Crystal Rosei and Swain might look pretty nice, and the Wizard Rose, Syndra, and Talon might look also pretty nice. But again, I don't want to. There it is, actually. Like I said, Viego looks a little bit off, especially when you play in game. The Darius looks kind of off, also actually. Jarvan looks kind of okay. The Fiora looks pretty sick, actually. I'm not gonna lie, and the Fellows looks sick. Annie looks interesting. The Wizard Rose Syndra looks very nice. The Talon looks good as well. The Swain looks very nice, and the Zyra looks very nice. Oh wow. Yeah, so I think, yeah. So yeah, those skins look really nice. Well done, Riot. So these have been the changes that has come to patch 11.3. Again, if you want to watch, I've actually created a playlist of all my patch reviews. If you want to watch my patch reviews, go down to the description below, and I'll link my playlist in there. But other than that, have a great day, everybody, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.